home or cut their payment by refinancing their mortgage. Go to davidhallmortgage.com.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing the wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer WetJet. With Swiffer WetJet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer WetJet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up? We're here to help. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $32.99. Plus a $10 bonus reward if you're an AutoZone Rewards member. Not a member? Don't worry. You can sign up fast right here in store or on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Terms at AutoZone.com.
selling himself to the ownership, that's going out and getting wins and proving that you can, one, be a head coach, you can handle everything that a head coach has to do, and that you're going to be different enough from what they just fired.
248-539-9797 is the telephone number and the ticket text. What is the benefit for the Detroit Lions to just get rid of Patricia? And obviously, I think we want to get rid of Quinn too, but we'll just keep it to Patricia. Get rid of Matt Patricia right now. The only benefit I see, honestly, is that fans will sit there and say, you know what, maybe she's different than her father and her mother. You know, maybe she's different. Maybe she's one of us. She can't take it anymore. That's the only benefit, because you're not going to hire anybody that you're going to hire now. Then I would assume, and it's a great leap to make an assumption, that they are already back channeling with agents or people like Eric Bieniemy, like Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, maybe even Ryan Day, maybe Daniel, I don't know, maybe even Urban Meyer, whoever, Byron Leftwich. Hopefully those calls have been started to be made, or at least lists and investigations and research is already being done. Because other than that, there really is no benefit in my mind of firing back Patricia now. What is the benefit?
I think this is super easy to answer. Are you okay with Daryl Bevell being the head coach of this team? If he makes this team look good? Yes or no? I honestly believe I know. Okay. I'm not against it. Obviously, I think it would be offensively generated his success, but defensively they showed some signs, and I wouldn't be against it. I like Daryl Bevell. I think he's always been one of these guys who's kind of been, kicked to the side easily in this game, and seems to have really had some bad luck in terms of what happened to him in Indianapolis is ridiculous. It's why he was out of football a year ago, or two. Well, it'd be 2 years right now, because Josh McDaniels took the job. He was going to be his coordinator, and then Josh McDaniels pulled out, and Daryl Bevell didn't have a job to take.
Right.
I'm not against it if he has wild success. If something changes, look, who's the best coach since you've been here, Stoney, and followed this team? It's Wayne.
Wayne, and then probably Caldwell after Wayne.
Yeah. Wayne got it from an interim.
Right.
And Wayne there was only 5 games left in the season when he got
That was
that.
3-2, I believe.
I would kill for the Wayne Fonziers right now. I know it sounds absolutely pathetic, but
But they had, Barry Sanders, they had some good players
yeah,
too.
he never did anything.
And there were a lot of people that felt that the team should have even been better if they had a better coach. But what Wayne was, for the players, loved him fine. Wayne was okay. I just don't see the benefit besides giving the fan base a lift, because I don't see, because their defense is going to be the same no matter who the head coach is, unless Corey Youngland and completely changes everything.
We have John, who played this game, knows this game more than anybody, way more than us. This defense, can it change with is it scheme or is it talent?
Well, it's a little bit of both. I don't think that your talent level right now is great, but if you put them in better position, this is not going to be a Super Bowl winning defense. I don't think anybody's arguing that fact. But if you put them in better position, if you give them a better opportunity for success at the snap of the ball, yes, I do believe this defense could be a lot better than it is playing right now. And so if you make a change at coach, the question then becomes, how much can you change the scheme during the season? And if you're going to, now's the time to do it, because you got 2 weeks to prepare for your next game.
I just don't think they have the bodies to change their scheme enough where they're not going to be able to be run on.
We have seen teams, and I know that this team's never done it hardly. I would guess 95, maybe the Lions kind of flip things around.
Yeah.
Other than that, there are examples. Nobody ever would have thought the 2006 Colts going into that playoff would have been able to win the Super Bowl, because their run defense
absolutely suck and completely clean house? Or do you think they actually have some talent? Darrell Bevell would be the head coach, flip it around, maybe save this season and get the 9-7?
I think they have offensive talent. I think they have very little talent on defense.
Yes.
248-539-9797.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJEM 950 Traffic Center, this report brought to you by Comcast Business. In Monroe County, there's a crash reported on 75 southbound at La Pleasance Road. It is blocking the right lane and shoulder, and so far there's a backup from Front Street. Today, businesses are starting to bounce back, but what if you could do better than that? What if you could adapt and find new ways to succeed with new customers? Well, Comcast Business wants to help you do just that. Learn how you can not just bounce back, but bounce forward at ComcastBusiness.com. I'm Michelle Pena with traffic.
Building a world-class sports station in a world-class sports city.
Sports are back, and that means you need to get down to the BetMGM Sports Lounge inside MGM Grand Detroit. There's no reason to call your local bookie anymore when you can just go down to the BetMGM Sports Lounge and place real money wagers on all the action. You can stop by anytime and place your bets at the live betting window, or do what I did and go to one of the easy-to-use self-service kiosks. The BetMGM Sports Lounge welcomes fans back to the excitement of a full betting menu 7 days a week. Whether you live and breathe sports, or you're just looking to place a wager on your favorite team, the BetMGM Sports Lounge at MGM Grand Detroit is ready to take your single game bets, along with parlays, props, future bets, and more. And don't forget about those teasers. You can take two of your favorite teams and tease them together and have a bet with two of your favorite teams at the same time. It's pretty cool. There's no better place in Michigan to celebrate the return of major sports. Stop by the betting window or the self-service kiosk anytime to get a piece of the action. Get ready to believe in your game again at the BetMGM Sports Lounge at MGM Grand Detroit. Must be 21 or older.
This Radio.com Sports Minute is brought to you by Hall Financial. Go to DavidHallMortgage.com.
This is Boomer Esiason with the Radio.com Sports Minute. In last night's impromptu NFL doubleheader, the Chiefs and Packers flashed their next-gen offenses to remain unbeaten 1/4 of the way into this COVID-19 altered season. Bill Belichick out-schemed Andy Reid into the third quarter before Patrick Mahomes and his uber-talented cast got it done with a couple of shovel passes for scores. The Chiefs' defense made life miserable for Brian Hoyer and Jarrett Stidham, proving Belichick's brilliance for signing Cam Newton to a bargain deal. In fairness, folks, the Patriots took one for the NFL. They had to get tested in Foxborough before flying to Kansas City, playing the game minus Newton, and then flying home all in one day, following a 26-10 loss. Then Aaron Rodgers exploited an inexperienced patchwork Atlanta secondary with 4 touchdown passes, despite missing top receivers Devontae Adams and Allen Lazard. The Packers rolled 30-16 on Boomer Esiason.
If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you that running a business is tough, but you might be making it harder on yourself than necessary. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. It's time to upgrade to NetSuite. Stop paying for multiple systems that don't give you the information you need when you need it. Ditch the spreadsheets and the old software you've outgrown. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything you need all in one place, instantaneously. Whether you're doing $1 million or hundreds of millions in revenue, save time and money with NetSuite. Join the over 21,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Let NetSuite show you how they'll benefit your business with a free product tour at netsuite.com/am. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/am. netsuite.com/am.
This pandemic has taken away many things. It's robbed us from our day-to-day, kept us from our work and play, and erased our views of regular, standard, and normal. But it's taught us a lot as well, including what and who matters most. That's why it's more important than ever to help protect your loved ones from the flu this season. Make a flu shot appointment for yourself and the people you care about most at Kroger.com/flu. At Kroger Health, we believe that your people are our people.
DTE wants you to use less energy and save more. Water heating alone consumes about 90% of the energy it takes to operate a clothes washer. So increase efficiency by washing in cold water and cleaning the filter on your dryer after each load. To get more tips, qualify for rebates, recycle appliances, or shop for discounts,
McDonald's for breakfast and somehow managed to do it all before that 10 a.m. meeting meal. There's a meal for every morning at McDonald's.
Get all your favorites from the McDonald's $1, $2, $3 menu, like the sausage biscuit, sausage McGriddles, or crispy hash browns. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meal.
Are you tired of paying high fees and commissions even when you lose your money? How'd you like to never lose your money again due to market risk? Join Joe Uplager for the Save Money and Income radio show right here on The Ticket, Sunday mornings from 7 to 8.
Are you registered to vote? Find out how at vote411.org. Don't miss the deadline. Every state is different. Plan to vote on November 3rd or by your state's deadline if you're voting by mail. Vote. Make it count. Go to vote411.org.
97.1 The Ticket would like to remind you that when you text The Ticket, standard text messaging rates apply. Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio, here's Stoney and Jansen.
97.1 The Ticket. Our telephone number 248-539-9797. Also the ticket text number. We're debating the benefits of whether you should fire Quinn Trisha or just Matt Patricia right now, as opposed to just letting it all play out. I believe you let it all play out because I don't like that false sense of hope that sometimes interims give. And I know Wayne Fonts kind of worked out. But he kind of worked out because he had Barry Sanders and they had some good players too. I mean, he was fine, but I don't want to take that chance. Here's some ticket text. The benefit is that you let everyone know the ownership means business. I agree with that. I said it's for the fan base. The benefit of firing Patricia now would give Darrell Bevell the power to sit Stafford. He's garbage. Okay, he's not garbage.
He's better than Chase Daniel.
Exactly. Well, that shouldn't be on his tombstone either. But he's an above average to a good quarterback who's not having a good season. Okay. If somebody says Salah, be the head coach. It's another defensive head coach. I'm sure they would talk to him.
Yep.
Now this one I completely disagree with. Hire Mike Singletary. Now, guys deserve second chances, but he was just an abject failure in San Francisco.
He seems a little off his rocker. Last few times I've heard him interviewed, and I liked him before, and I still like him, but I mean, I don't know, man. He's kind of stuck in the past a little bit.
Not firing Patricia gives him the chance to come back next year. Even if it's a 1% chance, you can't leave that to question. Okay? Winning divides a locker room. WTF? So losing unites players? If Bevell takes over and excels, isn't that what we're all looking for? How is that a bad thing? Because sometimes guys get into a groove under an interim coach and you hire him and you realize once he's, the leader in charge for the whole kit and caboodle for the whole season, it's not the same.
I'll be very unfair here because it's on the fly, but give me some interim coaches who have done an absolute awesome job after they got the job. Like to where maybe they didn't win a championship, but they made their teams very good. I mean, it's hard to think of it.
Yeah.
I mean, Wayne's a decent example.
Right, Greg.
Well, I was going to say not in the NFL, which I guess are good, but there's a particular college coach of note in this area that got an interim job and won a national championship.
Correct.
And John Jansen might have played for him.
Yeah.
And there's tons of examples in hockey.
Oh, yeah, we know. Those guys get fired even if it was in the playoff. Well, I forgot about Lloyd was in it. You're right. I was thinking more of, I thought you were referring to Steve Fisher. There's another one.
That one's...
I know. It's really simple. All you have to do is fire Quinn, and the new general manager will take care of the rest once that person gets hired. I would disagree with that. No, but I would be stunned if they fired Quinn and didn't fire Patricia.
Well, I was asking Stoney in the break, John, like, do you think, like, if they
They also beat the Bears twice. The 5-11 Bears, and they beat the 5-11 Bucks. Here's who they lost to. The 10-6 Falcons, the 13-3 Vikings, the 11-5 Saints, the 11-5 Panthers, the 9-7 Ravens, the 13-3 Steelers, and the 7-9 Cincinnati Bengals. So don't go tell me that this, yes, they were 9-7. It was a really good team back then. They weren't. They didn't beat anybody. Is Jim Caldwell better than Matt Patricia? Yes.
But they're a 10-second runoff away from none of this being real right now, what we're living. Seriously? The Golden Tate play?
Or if he was smart enough not to, they could score from the 1-yard line in the Steeler game. That was also a bonehead coaching decision, if my memory's correct, right?
Yeah. And then also the Juju Smith-Schuster 97-yard touchdown.
Yeah. And going into Cincinnati when you absolutely had to win that game and they lost.
It's like a disease.
I know. Okay, so I'm not talking that. But don't make it out that this was such a really good team that was 9-7. They didn't beat anybody.
No, they beat the teams that they were supposed to beat.
Right.
And they lost to the teams that they were supposed to lose to. I mean, that's how they're. If you play the schedule game, and at the beginning of that year, you probably come up at 9-7, and that's where they ended up.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, Jim Caldwell was a good guy. Yes, the culture was great. The locker room was great. No doubt about it. But they're not that, firing Jim Caldwell, in my mind, was not a mistake. Hiring a Matt Patricia, on the other hand, that seems to be a huge mistake. All right, Heather has news next.
Well, you guys may have missed it, but National Taco Day was on Sunday, and Joey Chestnut celebrated just as you would imagine he would. I'm going to tell you just how much he ate coming up next.
Well, he is an athlete, no doubt about it. 97 won the ticket.
97 won the ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJ AM 950 Traffic Center, this report brought to you by Mastercraft Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. In Monroe County, all lanes are now blocked by a crash on 75 southbound at La Pleasance Road. You'll find drivers are getting by on the left shoulder. So far, there's a backup from Front Street. For same-day service of your furnace or plumbing, call Mastercraft Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. 37 years in the business. A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Mastercraft Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, 800-924-2123. MastercraftHeating.com. I'm Michelle Pena with traffic.
Now, text or call the ticket using the same number. Ticket text 248-539-9797.
I filled this pickup at BP with Amoco Ultimate. We'll go up to 25 miles further per tank on the highway than with regular fuel.
Up to 25 miles?
Yep, we're gonna make it.
We're gonna make it.
I just said
We're gonna make it.
drive up to 25 miles further per tank with Amoco Ultimate within Vickery. Available at BP and Amoco stations. Based on media difference between 93 octane Amoco Ultimate and 87 octane minimum detergent E10 fuels and like on a full-size half-ton pickup truck uses the EPA highway driving cycle. Assumes 100% of fuel intake will be used. Results will vary based on what you drive, how you drive, and other factors.
Right now at Subway restaurants, enter the foot-long season sweepstakes. By adding chips and a drink to any sub, salad, or wrap, you can win a fan cave upgrade with a big screen TV, sound system, and more. Or free footlongs for a year, free chips, and other great prizes. Only at Subway. Footlongs for a year awarded as a $399 Subway gift card. No purchase necessary. Links December 31st. Must be legal resident for 50 USDC, 18 years or older. Void where prohibited. See official rules at footlineseasonsweeps.com.
Joe Biden.
To fix the economy, we have to get control over the virus. I'm releasing a plan to save lives in the months ahead. We need to increase federal support for testing, doubling the number of drive-through testing sites. We absolutely need a clear message from the very top of our federal government that everyone needs to wear a mask in public. Every single frontline worker should have the personal protective equipment that they need to be safe. We need to support schools and childcare programs so parents, if and when they can return to work, are confident that their children will be safe and cared for. And finally, we need to protect the populations most at risk, our seniors, vulnerable populations with pre-existing conditions. We need real plans, real guidelines. You
relaxing talk about cold and flu season. Even though this year is stressful, you're going to feel calm. Because at Rite Aid, our pharmacists are educated in traditional medicine and alternative remedies. So you not only get a flu shot, you also learn how to support your immune system. And rest assured, you're doing your best to protect your health and wellness. Get your flu shot and boost your immune system at Rite Aid today. No cost with most insurance, no appointment needed.
Vaccines will supplies, lab stage restrictions apply in some states. See pharmacist for details.
With United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans, there's so much to take advantage of, like $0 copays on hundreds of prescription drugs.
Wow.
Pick up at your local pharmacy or take advantage of free delivery. To learn more, visit AdvantageWow.com. That's AdvantageWow.com.
$0 copay may be restricted to particular tiers, preferred medications, or mail order prescriptions during the initial coverage phase and medical apply during the coverage to have a catastrophic stage. Free delivery with preferred mail order pharmacies.
Wow.
Pros today have to do whatever the job calls for, and the Home Depot is here to help make that easier. With a wide range of delivery options, you can get what you need, from job lot quantities to small supply runs, delivered where and when you need it. Don't want to buy the tool? Rent it. We've got the most innovative products and more ways for pros to find them, in-store and online. Pros are changing, so are we. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Election Day is November 3rd. If you plan to vote by mail, plan ahead at USPS.com/votinginfo. There you will find helpful resources, such as guidance for successfully using the mail, links to find your state's polls and deadlines, information for military and overseas voters, and more. The U.S. Postal Service is ready to deliver for you. Make sure you're ready too. Start today at USPS.com/votinginfo.
This is time that matters. A window of time to help protect the ones you love. Your preteen benefits from staying up to date with their well visits. This is your window of protection. Schedule their well visit now. Brought to you by Merck.
The station where your opinion matters.
All right, last night, Monday Night Football, the Chiefs over the Patriots by the score of 26-10. Green Bay over the Falcons 30-16. Green Bay 4-0, Atlanta 0-4. By the way, Aaron Rodgers, God, he's done. He's just done. He's finished 27-33, 327 yards and 4 touchdowns. Astros and Yankees win their first ALDS games. You got the National League beginning tonight, and Game 4 of the NBA Finals is tonight, and the NHL Draft is tonight. Wings picking 4th. Here's our first-round pick, Heather Park. What's up, Heather?
Good morning. Well, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services has announced that they are reinstating mask mandates and restrictions on gathering sizes that were in place under executive orders by the governor. Now, this new order comes 3 days after Whitmer's previous orders were ruled unconstitutional by the Michigan Supreme Court last week. So any violators of this new order will be faced with a misdemeanor charge, which is punishable by 6 months in jail or a $200 fine. The order is in effect immediately and will remain in place until October 30th. And basically, it's the same thing that we were doing before. Masks must be worn indoors and outdoors if you can't social distance. There's limitations on the size of specific gatherings, and bars must close their indoor common areas where alcohol is sold.
Well, you know what? That's gonna, some of it's gonna suck because, with restaurants, once the weather gets really cold, people are gonna want to eat outside.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was going to suck no matter what for restaurants, unfortunately. I mean, this new order isn't anything crazy different than what was already in place. I mean, I'm all for safety measures. I don't want to see businesses go out of business, of course, either. But maybe they can still spread tables out, use these common areas, and just put tables there instead of having an open dance floor or things like that. As long as they have the same size, a size, whatever size their building is, they still can only have so many people in at one time. So hopefully they can just rearrange and have people inside to eat. It's going to be real tough on restaurants, that's for sure, in cold states like us.
Yes.
So as expected, President Trump left the hospital last night and he returned to the White House. Once he was there, he did later post video message for all, I almost said his fans, but for all of America on Twitter, where he advised everyone not to be afraid of COVID-19.
I just left Walter Reed Medical Center, and I learned so much about coronavirus. And one thing that's for certain, don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it. You're going to beat it. We have the best medical equipment. We have the best medicines, all developed recently. And you're going to beat it. I went, I didn't feel so good. And 2 days ago, I felt great, like better than 20 years ago. Don't let it dominate. Don't let it take over your lives.
Sounds like a miracle drug. He feels better than he did 20 years ago?
Yeah, we
It's pretty impressive.
The benefit of probably
It's
the
pretty
best
impressive.
drugs and doctors in the world.
Exactly, and that's where a lot of his critics are saying, like, hey, there's been over, I think now it's close to 210,000 people who have died from COVID, and a lot of people don't have the opportunity to even get to a hospital,
right?
And let alone get the treatment that you got. So
maybe he's using the
people aren't a fan of what he said.
Maybe he's using the TB12 method.
He's consulting with TB12.
Yeah. Well, they're supposedly buds. They play golf together.
Oh yeah.
All right, so listen to this. Several Las Vegas Raiders players were fined for going maskless at a charity event. So the charity event was hosted by Darren Waller, and it was helped, he was raising money for people who were fighting drug and alcohol addiction. So it was going for a great cause. But several players, Derek Carr, Nathan Peterman, Jason Witten, they all attended the event, and they were photographed without any sort of face protection. And because that violates the NFL's strict COVID-19 protocol, they were all fined. Waller faced a $30,000 fine, and then everyone else was fined $15,000 for not wearing a mask.
You know what? I'm not gonna shame on them. They I mean, it's a great event. It's a charity. Yes.
Yes, and that's kind of what Derek Carr did release a statement later, and he said, you know what, we should have kept our masks on. And that's exactly what they should have done. So they did know the protocol. They just didn't follow it. It'd be so. This might be a dumb question, but I don't know the answer. When players are fined or coaches are fined, where does that money go?
Usually, I believe it goes to league charities. Is that correct, John?
It does. It goes to NFL charities.
Like maybe they could just say your fine is going to go to this charity. That would be cool.
That would be nice.
I highly doubt it will, but.
Well, you know what the NFL does? They don't publicize a lot of the charities that they do support, but sometimes that does happen where it would be cool for them to be able to donate to that charity, even though it was, it was breaking the rules.
Right.
They do occasionally do some things like that. So.
Okay, good to know. See, I didn't know that.
If the Lions
I don't really know where it went.
If the Lions get fined, they should donate it to Michigan Roads.
That's right.
Yes.
Breaking protocol for roads.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys, at least I know, were watching football last night. I'm sure a lot of other men were watching as well, and some women, of course. But your wives or girlfriends may have been watching Dancing with the Stars while you were watching football. And if you've never seen Dancing with the Stars, I'm sure you've heard me talk about how they have a new host. Tyra Banks was hired as the new host, and that meant Tom Bergeron and Erin Andrews got